Hello. For this video, we're going to talk about the hybrid cannon and look at how to use it and also how to defend against it. So, without further ado, let's go over how does the hybrid cannon work, and we'll look at some basic designs for it. So, I mentioned in the last video that to defend against the TNT cannon, you can cover your walls with water like this. And if you try to light a TNT, this won't blow up because the TNT doesn't blow up in the water. However, if we have a sand block falling in the same spot as the TNT, and this sand will fall once the TNT is lit, then actually it's sort of an exploit, you could say, but the TNT will actually explode in the water. So now we just want the cannon to do the same thing, and the way the cannon does that is it will launch both the TNT and the sand at the same time. I'm just going to fix this. So to build the cannon, I'll show you a very simple design. We'll just build a normal cannon and turn it into a hybrid cannon. So this cannon was built as normal, but what makes it a hybrid cannon is actually the repeaters. We see here that there are 9 repeaters on full delay and 1 repeater on 3 ticks. We just wanted to make the delay near the maximum amount, which is 10 repeaters on full delay. And this isn't necessarily always the correct setting for the repeaters, but it should be near the maximum. And that will make the sand launch with the TNT, and that's what makes this hybrid cannon. That's what makes this cannon a hybrid cannon. So we're going to test it out right now. And what's different here is that we put the sand here, so that once this TNT is lit, the sand will fall, and it should be launched with the TNT, causing a hybrid shot. So there, we've seen a simple way to modify your cannon into a hybrid cannon, and really nothing has changed at all. It's only the repeaters that is fixed amount. So that's a simple change, but let's talk about what's the disadvantage of this design. Well, there's a few of them. One of them being that there's a few disadvantages. One of them is that you can't really change the repeater settings, and this cannon is not very flexible. So we're going to build another cannon which will allow you to change the delays if you need to just fire a shot that isn't a hybrid shot and you need to explode in midair, for instance. This other cannon will work. And also, if you need to fire the sand by itself, because for instance you might need to stack sand to get to the wall, as we'll see later. So you might need to, in some cases, fire the sand only, which this cannon cannot do. So we're going to have a design that will work a little bit better. It's a little bit more flexible for a hybrid cannon. And it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but not much more. So the basic idea is going to be the same. In this case, these repeaters is no longer have to be a set amount here. But we're also going to have repeaters on this side, because on this side there's going to be a piston that pushes sand into the spot where the TNT gets lit. It's going to look something like this. So here, there's 9 repeaters on full delay here. And 1 repeater that's on 2 ticks. It's just a setting that's necessary to make it nearly maximum delay. I think I placed the block wrong. Should still work though. And then we can have a roof like normal. So we just need to connect both of these with a button. We're going to see here that for this extra right side, the piston is going to push the sand on top of the lit TNT, and they're going to get launched at the same time. Of course, I forgot the redstone here, which made the cannon blow up. so that was not a good mistake, but it could have gone worse. So I'm not gonna bother trying to show this to work on a wall, but it should work with a few adjustments. We saw that the sand did launch here, and the TNT also did launch. You have to make some adjustments with the repeaters and the roof and so on to ensure that they land at the same spot. Otherwise the hybrid shot is not going to work. But that's the basic idea of the hybrid cannon. So we showed two designs. This one is simple, this one is not that simple, but this one has a few more advantages than the other one. And one of the advantages here is that we can just launch sand only. So if I just do this here, then it's only going to launch the sand, and I'll explain why that's important. And also a nice little quirk of this design is that we can just stack up the sand and we don't have to place the sand one at a time every time we shoot this cannon. And that's the changes you need to for the cannon to make it a hybrid cannon. So let's talk about how to defend against the hybrid cannon. We've seen that this wall here is not very good defense against hybrid cannon. It only takes one shot to blow through this wall. But we observed that the TNT and the sand have to land at the same spot, and they need a place to land. So, for instance, if we had a wall that's floating in midair, it's a little bit more difficult because the TNT and sand have to have a spot to land on the ground. And the way that you blow through walls in midair is by launching sand against the wall. So it would require a few shots of sand only to pile up sand against this wall. And then once you have a pillar of sand like this, then you can launch your hybrid shot, and it will launch TNT and sand. And once this is lit, it should blow through up the wall in there. But it requires you to stack up sand like this. So that makes the walls in midair a little bit more secure than walls that are on the ground. In fact, the higher up the walls are, the better it is. Another way to defend against the hybrid cannon is to put down half slabs, because the sand has to fall against the wall, but half slabs will cause the sand to break. So see, if we put half slabs on the ground here like this, and we try and put sand against the wall, the sand is just going to break. This isn't a perfect solution though, because if we light a TNT now, this TNT by itself is not going to blow up the wall, but it's going to blow up the half slabs. So the half slabs will be blown up, and then you can start stacking the sand like normal. So the half slabs is not a perfect defense against hybrid cannon, but it definitely helps. So in summary, you want to build your base high up in the air in general. You want to have your half slabs at the bottom as low as possible. And you also want multiple walls to defend against a hybrid cannon. One wall is probably not going to cut it. We also have two different types of walls. We have cobblestone walls and we have sand walls. If you make your walls out of cobblestone, it causes them to have to stack sand like this. But if you made your walls out of sand, actually, once you blow a hole in the sand, the rest of the sand will fall and actually repair the hole. So both walls sort of have their own advantages or disadvantages. Really, you can choose between sand wall and cobblestone wall, but you need multiple walls, and if you spend enough time on it, you'll have a good enough defense against hybrid cannon. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it.